than you. What you don't know is bigger than you. What you don't know is bigger than you. What you don't know is bigger than you. Hey, he dey pay me yo gaga. He dey pay me yo gaga. He dey pay me yo gaga. This your G. He dey pay me yo gaga. The one thing you can do to it.
Hi everyone, you are welcome back to another edition of our program. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are hearing this great news right now. Thank you. Today is 27th of June 2025. The breaking news from Kenya Gov and also a sad news for those kidnappers. Here, I will not read from Sahara Reporters so that they will not say Sahara Reporters has close link with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But I can read from Nigerian newspaper, the papers that are always against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let us take one, the Punch. But I will not read the Punch right now. I have to use Punch as a confirmatory breaking news. I will read directly from Kenyan newspaper called CKN News. It reads, quote, Kenya court declares Nnamdi Kanu's abduction in Nairobi illegal, awards 120 million naira in damages, unquote. This is June 27th, 2025. According to the newspaper publication, a high court in Nairobi has ruled that abduction and detention of indigenous people of Biafra IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and his subsequent rendition to Nigeria in June 2021 were unlawful and illegal, unquote. Declaring the judgment, Justice E.C. Wita held that the actions of both the Kenyan and Nigerian governments amounted to gross violation of Kanu's fundamental human rights as protected by their respective constitutions. The court also awarded Kanu 10 million Kenyan shillings in compensatory damages against the Kenyan government for its role in the unlawful abduction and rendition. At this very point, we have to make a little comment. All this while, Kenyan government, Uhuru Kenyatta, and their agents have vehemently denied involvement in the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. They declared that they never knew anything about it. Nevertheless, after the abduction and the rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the relationship between Uhuru Kenyatta and the Muhammadu Buhari government grew asymmetrically as if both of them have been childhood friends because they are of the same feather. Two friends under one project, that is kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as the court gave its verdict on this very case. What is important in this very case is that the judge, who is of Kenyan origin, declared that the damages being paid is because of the actions taken against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the flooding of his fundamental human rights, which is protected by their respective constitutions of Kenya and Nigeria. Therefore, both played an unlawful role in abduction and rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. Therefore, this has cleared the air that Kenya participated fully with Nigerian group in abduction of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Punct. In giving his final judgment, the trial judge considered and relied on the Constitution and the law as applicable to both Kenya and Nigeria. and decided on the following. First, the government of Kenya violated the constitution and Nnamdi Kanu's rights and fundamental freedoms, having entered Kenya lawfully. He didn't come in there as a refugee. He didn't come through the backyard. He came with his passport. He came with the visa of Kenya and entered into the Kenya International Airport. He was registered. His name was there, both on arrival and waiting when he will depart the country. Then came the kidnappers, just like they are kidnapping people in Nigeria. You cannot go any distance without the Fulani Hismen or the bandits kidnapping and maiming the people. Therefore, as soon as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had all the requirements that brought him into the Kenya with legal documents, he was then abducted by the international kidnappers. That is what the judge is saying, that it is wrong, and that the government of Kenya and Nigeria had these plans and executed it in the land of Kenya, particularly in the town of Nairobi. That is why the judge decided to use the application of Constitution and international human rights articles. Let us continue. The judge stated, having entered Kenya lawfully, he was subject to the protection offered by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and the government of Kenya had an obligation to uphold and protect his rights and fundamental freedoms as long as he is in Kenya. And that is what every country does. Once a visitor entered into your country and has all the requirements, it is the duty of that country to protect the visitor. And this is what they did not do in Kenya. Instead, they saw it as a ground, as a place, as a way where he is now free to be abducted. But today, the judge of the High Court stated that it is illegal for him to be abducted. Therefore, the work of Nigerian security agencies and the Buhari government and the government of Uhuru Kenyatta were all accomplices to this very abduction. When you remember, Malami and his group were jubilating on the national television, giving news how they abducted the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, and they were jubilating. Lai Mohammed telling the world that they traced Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for the past 2 years, and those of the DSS, everybody jubilating, kicking legs up and down about the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today, it has been published that those who participated in this very heinous activity have done it illegally. They are all illegal violators of fundamental human rights and the constitutional rights of Kenya 2010. The question is, what does any kidnapper do with his or her victim? What do they do? What they do is the same thing the government does when they kidnap their victims in the name of using security services. Let us hear what the Kenyan judge said about kidnappers. And Nnamdi Kanu was the victim. Let us hear what the judge said. Mr. Kanu was, however, abducted, kept in solitude confinement, tortured, and denied food and medication, a breach of basic right. The judge could not hold his face up but down when he declared. He was chained, humiliated, ridiculed, and held in contempt, and later forcefully removed from Kenya without following the law, in violation of his rights and fundamental freedoms, for which the government of Kenya is liable. The judge continued. Based on the above conclusions, the court makes the following declarations and others it considers appropriate. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction of Nnamdi Kanu, holding him incommunicado confinement, torturing him, and denying him food, water, medication, and other basic necessities was a violation of his rights and fundamental freedoms. You can see the agony of Nnamdi Kanu underwent in Kenya. He is a Biafran leader. He is pursuing the freedom of Biafra and also making sure that the necessary legal instruments, the fundamental human rights, and the freedom of Biafrans are ensured, that the suffrage in Nigeria stops, the killing of Biafrans in Nigeria stops, the killing of innocent citizens, not necessarily Biafrans, stop in Nigeria, that people get the necessary facilities to ensure that life is meaningful to them. But Nigerian government, controlled by the APC president, Muhammadu Buhari, and now Ahmed Tinubu, do not want such amenities for the people. Instead, they are allowing the Fulanis, called terrorists, to kill at will and do anything they want to do. Any fight against them is a fight against the North, which is quoted by former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, who is also the leader of the international kidnap gang that kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. You can see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in pursuit of Biafran liberation, had been kidnapped in Kenya, kept incommunicado, confined to a particular place where he cannot have people to talk to, have opportunity to speak out, had the opportunity to have anyone visiting him. He was tortured, he was denied food, water, medication, and other basic necessities, according to what the judge has stated. These are all in pursuit of this Biafra, to ensure that Biafra is free, just like today you have Zimbabwe being free from the manipulation of Britain, South Africa being free from the control of Britain, Namibia being free from the control of the same group. This is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pursuing, and as a result, he is being tortured, being kept incommunicado, being denied food, medication, and also other necessary amenities required to make life easy. As a visitor that entered into Nairobi, Kenya, under the leadership of Uhuru Kenyatta, the man whose father also underwent through this heinous torture from the British government. We will continue. According to the judge, he stated, I quote, "A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction and the subsequent forceful removal of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria was a violation of the laws of Kenya. His rights and fundamental freedoms, including freedom of movement and the security of the person, guaranteed by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and therefore unconstitutional and illegal," unquote. On numerous occasions, we had the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, denying the fact that he never knew anything about Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. He never knew he was abducted. Now we have had the truth from the legal system, from the court, where Nnamdi Kanu's legal team instituted an illegal action against the government and their knowledge about the kidnap. Today, it is open for everyone to realize that he was actually kidnapped with the knowledge of the government of Uhuru Kenyatta in Nairobi, showing that they do not operate on what the Constitution they swear allegiance to protect. They do not care about it. All they care is their friends, what their friends will benefit, and not the protection of the fundamental rights of the people and visitors in that very country. However, the judge did one thing, just to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had something to hold on, to feed on, all those amenities denied him during the period of agony, he decided to award the following, and I quote, "An order of compensation is hereby issued, awarding Mr. Nnamdi Kanu general damages of 10 million Kenya shilling against the Attorney General of Kenya on behalf of the government of Kenya for the violation of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's constitutional rights and fundamental freedoms." Then let us see what is the reaction of indigenous people of Biafra, whose representative, Emma Powerful, stated. Let us read his own comment on the actions of the court. He stated, "The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, wishes to formally announce a resounding judicial earthquake that has shaken the legal foundation of the fraudulent rendition of our leader, Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu," unquote. In a historic, courageous, and landmark judgment delivered on 24th June 2025, the High Court of Kenya, sitting in Nairobi, found that the abduction, incommunicado detention, torture, and illegal transfer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021 was unlawful, unconstitutional, and a gross violation of his fundamental human rights under Kenya and international law, unquote. Continued, he stated, "We are grateful beyond measure to the brilliant legal leadership of Professor B. Eluko Lumumba led counsel in Kenya litigation, whose courage, clarity, and tenacity led to this monumental legal victory. IPOB also extends heartfelt appreciation to the Kenya judiciary, especially Honorable Justice E.C. Mwita, who stood tall against ferocious political interference and international diplomatic pressure to deliver a fearless judgment grounded in law, morality, and constitutional justice," unquote. I thank him, Powerful, for this very quotation, because this is a landmark judgment which is equivalent to what the United Nations Human Rights Working Group on Torture stated earlier. And that is the confirmation that Nigeria and Kenya are accomplices in this very rendition and international kidnapping gang. All these complement the court judgments in Enugu, in Umuahia, and other places in Nigeria, including the ECOWAS court, that Nigerian government had unlawfully kidnapped, tortured, renditioned, and also kept their victim incommunicado, denied him medical attention and food, including water, as they were in their custody. This is very, very imaginable. We cannot exhaust all that was written in this Kenyan paper, but however, we will thank the government of Kenya, which had cleared himself out of what Uhuru Kenyatta did between 2021 to the period when he relinquished power. We also confirm that the same was reported by the Punch of 27th June 2025, whereby it stated in its headline, IPOB hails Kenya court for declaring Kanu's rendition illegal. And for the Sahara Reporter of 27th June 2025, it stated in its own headline, I quote, "Breaking, Kenya court declares Nnamdi Kanu's abduction and rendition to Nigeria illegal, awards 120 million naira in damages, unquote. These are the confirmation that the report coming from Kenyan newspaper had reached Nigeria, and it is a clear report that showed that the case has been dealt with. Thank you very much. For those who have not had this is opportunity to have clue of what has taken place in Kenya on the 24th of June 2025, barely 4 years after his kidnap in Kenya in 2021. Thank you. Please, for those who have not subscribed to this channel, please, we do ask you to subscribe, like, share, and also always leave your comment. Thank you very much for watching. Until we come to you with another edition of the news, thank you and God bless you all. Remain fit,